from our department heads about catching us up on what taking place. I think we all need to give them a hand right now for the guys that have kept your lights on and kept your water on. I would like to say we are very, very fortunate, the employees that we have here in the town of Waynesville, with what they do. Most places still don't have power and water, and so we are very, very fortunate. As far as me having had anything, the rest of us to do with the internet, we don't have anything to do with the internet. So I know that feels like it's made the world stop turning when you don't have internet, but we will get through this. We will get through this. Okay, I'll move right along. And are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion from someone.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, got a motion. A second by Chuck. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, show like sign. So ordered. Okay, we'll move on to our presentations of our department heads. And so I'll call on our fire chief, Joy Webb, first.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. I've asked Chief Mahaffey to come with me today to also give you some numbers. He was out in the field during operations. He was head of operations during the rescues and so forth going on. I'm happy to report to you today that we didn't lose any firefighters, any individuals. During all the rescues, there was some scary moments a few times. Unfortunately, in neighboring counties, Buncombe County lost a firefighter in a rescue attempt, and also Macon County lost a deputy that had drowned in the event. So we're very fortunate on that part. Also in Saluda, I think they lost a couple of firefighters responding to a tree fell on the vehicle and killed both those folks. We started preparing a while back, and as you know, we bought a boat. Everybody probably thought we were crazy when we bought a boat. A couple years ago, we had a trust fund that was left to us to buy equipment. And that's one thing that concerned us covering the Lake Junaluska area, and the amount of swiftwater rescues that's happened in this county. We felt the need to do that. It took us almost 2 years to receive that, but we were very fortunate to get that piece of equipment. It came in about a month ago. So Chief Mahaffey will go into more details about the number of certified swiftwater folks that we do have. We're still lacking in a lot of equipment that we're short on, some dry suits and some things that we need, but hopefully at some point we'll be able to address that and get the needed equipment. As the reports started coming in, you know, we had the heavy rain prior to the event. We started hearing reports how catastrophic the event was going to be. So we started preparing. The guys were actually training, throwing rope bags, rescue, getting their skills honed up. And the calls actually started coming in about 3 a.m. on Friday morning is when we first got the initial calls. And it was pretty rough up to that point. We did rescue probably over 100 people from their home and from vehicles. And it's been quite an eventful day. We got in yesterday, actually Saturday afternoon and into Sunday, trying to walk the creek banks along the Richland Creek and confirm that we didn't have any fatalities along the way. And to my knowledge, without confirming it from EOC, we didn't lose any lives here in Wayne. When we bought the boat and so forth, we kind of anticipated we'd be helping our neighbors. We do have some rural area in the district, but we figured we'd end up going to Canton or Clyde and assisting those folks, because we just we're all one team here in Haywood County. We kind of all work together. But we saw flooding here in Waynesville we've never seen before on a quite a large basis. But without that, like I say, yesterday we started in recovery efforts. Camp Branch, some of those, we got several landslides around different areas. Camp Branch up in that area, Allen's Creek, Lickstone, Eagles Nest. There's several areas but we got the outside teams, search and rescue teams come in with us. We went door to door checking on people. Some people lost bridges and stuff. They were okay. We're just trying to make sure everybody was okay, and we tried to check all those structures to make sure everybody was out. But all in all, we're very fortunate to be here, and we know it's going to be a long recovery, getting over this. I experienced my first one in 2004 when I was with the fire department in Clyde. And this is a much larger event. Clyde Fire Department they had 5 feet of water in their building down there. They took some significant damage, as well as the town of Canton. But never dreamed we'd see the damage we have here in the town of Waynesville. Very thankful that, you know, everybody's okay. And I'm going to let Chief Mahaffey come forward and give you some more of the details.
I think Chief's hit on a lot of the stuff that I was going to talk about. Obviously, between 3 a.m. and 10 a.m. was the peak of our rescue efforts. Well over 100 people that we evacuated by vehicles, by knocking on doors, by boats. And he didn't mention, we were able to purchase a smaller boat that came in much handier during this effort. We're able to rescue probably at least 30 using that boat alone. We did have help from the police department. These rescues were not just us alone by any means. The police department was a huge part of that. Even the chief was out with us in the waist deep water. Public Works, Development Services were out. Everybody was involved, even in the water. So we were lucky enough to have an urban search and rescue task force from Raleigh that helped us out initially with the boat rescues. Couldn't have done it without them. We also had support the next day from Winston-Salem Fire Department. So again, a lot of this stuff was pre-positioned because we knew it was going to be bad. So we were able to use them immediately. There was no gap in that. Just like Chief said, we've searched all of our district because there's quite a bit of district outside of the city limits. And we can access almost all of that now, except for the far ends of Camp Branch, where there's some landslides. However, we have evacuated everyone above that we know of. So we're doing well in that aspect. I think that's all we had. Right now, we've now that we've gotten away from rescues and evacuations, we've been helping with hazmat assessments. They've gotten all those propane tanks that are at Russ Avenue. We should have it back open tomorrow by about lunch. So we're just continuing our efforts, and we'll assist the town in the recovery efforts.
One other comment I'd like to make as we get into the cleanup phase, we just want to remind people about burning. We've already had a couple instances where people burn stuff. You can't burn anything but natural vegetation in the town of Waynesville. You cannot burn. We passed that ordinance, a while back. So we need to have that as part of the pickup process. But we just want to remind folks not to burn, especially building materials and stuff like that. Our quality can come in and fine you for that. Not that we do, but our quality catches you doing that. Put a pretty hefty fine on folks that are burning building materials and the like for that. So we just want to remind people of that.
Any questions, guys, for Chief? Anyone? Okay, thank you, Chief. We appreciate it. Okay, I have a presentation for our police chief, David Adams.
David. Hadn't had a chance to introduce our newest assistant police chief, Josh. We're going to do that next week. It's been a great asset and resource. But first of all, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Manager, and Board, Council, for providing us the resources over the last several years. So that helped starting from Thursday night through today. So we appreciate that very much. And your support means a lot. Also want to thank all the town employees, fire department, police department, public works, every department here, rec center. If I don't leave anybody out, town administration, they've been great to help us and get us what we need and supporting us, encouraging us. So it's been phenomenal. I appreciate that very much. Like the chief, assistant chief, fire chief were saying, things got bad real quick. 3 a.m. Friday morning on the 27th. Lieutenant or Assistant Chief Schick called me. I came out. We started helping rescue people, evacuate people on Browning Avenue, Camp Branch. It was all over town. Like he said, between the fire department, police department, and planning and zoning employees, we rescued, evacuated over 100 people till late Friday afternoon. So it's phenomenal. I'm glad to be a part of this town and organization. Never seen anything this bad in my 28 years of law enforcement. Waynesville, we were able to take care of our own and handle our own. So that's something to be commended, all town employees. I appreciate that. Also, we had one town employee brought his large truck out and helped us evacuate people on multiple streets, more than 25 houses. Our vehicles would not get into those areas. So our dispatchers have been working around the clock since Thursday. We've had 4 and 5 dispatchers, and part of that is to help out the Hayward County Sheriff's Office because their administrative lines have been down. And those calls are automatically rolling over to Waynesville Police Department, and we're still handling those. Assistant Chief Schick, you want to add anything there? I might have missed.
We were able to get another dispatch center. Like he said, about people staying over, working extra, and then on their days off. All their personal things were kind of getting destroyed. We're still here. I don't even know what to say. Thank you.
Questions for Chief, anyone? Okay, thank you.
Not a question, but a statement.
Okay.
Thank you so much. You rescued my family.
It's an honor.
Words cannot explain how appreciative I am of you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's an honor on behalf of all the town employees to help all the citizens and business owners and people visiting. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, we have our Public Service Director, Jeff Stein.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. Where do I start? We had torrential rainfalls like they were saying, starting early that morning. I'll start with the water plant. I brought Kyle and you with me as well. We got hit pretty hard up there. Of course, we had some slides that we've not been able to assess yet, which in turn sent muddy water into the lake. It rose our turbidity level slightly.
What is turbidity?
Kyle can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the amount of dirt that's in the water, basically. Yeah, particulates. Yeah. So according to state statute, if we have to do we did that as of 1 o'clock yesterday. That was rescinded. Our levels came back down, and lake's coming back down. Everything's going back to normal. Those guys, can't say enough for them. They were Johnny on the spot. They were right there doing their jobs, treating water. We've had several issues there. We lost a pump house on Camp Branch. There was a slide, took the pump house out. Those guys, Wayne's guys, they've been working relentlessly to clean that area up and get some contractors in to get that rebuilt for service. We've had our biggest sewer issue on the collection side is a 24-inch main that was taken out just at the head of Lake Junaluska. We also have made contact with the contractor to repair that as well. I've spoken with the state agencies, but know of both issues. I brought Julie as well. Her guys have just, they're all hands on deck. Whatever we need, they're doing whatever's needed. I just can't say enough about all public works staff. Street department has been working around the clock for a couple of days, cleaning streets, cleaning trees out of the road. The electric department, I don't have a number of actual outages, but we do have everyone restored. We had them restored within a day and a half. Those guys were phenomenal. Johnny and his guys kept everything working for all departments. The sewer plant, it got hit pretty hard. The good thing to that is we are treating water. So we're online and we're treating water. I just can't say enough about fire department, police, all the town employees, how we work together to get through this. And I'll mirror what David said. In my 30 years, I've never seen anything like this.
You had quite a bit of debris under the bridges. I noticed today you were using some of our equipment. Why don't you describe what you've seen under the bridge?
So we've seen, gosh, cars, large culverts, just anything that could be caught by those bridge piers that have been caught. We've been pulling all that out to release that water and open those channels up.
How are we gonna handle the propane tank?
I think those are, I think, yeah.
So if you see a propane tank, what should you do? You see one floating down the river.
Yeah, that could notify us.
Thank you.
We checked pretty much most all of them.
Yeah.
They may be a-
Check the dog park. There's a nice one right there.
Also, excuse me, I'd like to point out that the boil water also is not in effect now. That, all that's been cleared up, so.
As a
that
1
was
o'clock
another thing
yesterday.
I thought about it. We're very fortunate we're here to have, get that straight. Any more
Yeah.
questions for Jeff?
Jeff, you said there was a sewer main that went out. Where was that?
That was just on the upper side of the lake entrance there, right along the greenway, in between the greenway and the, golf course.
And have y'all been able to repair that yet?
Not yet, we're working on that. That was an aerial, so it was actually suspended above the river. So we've got to put that back as well as the sewer line.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you, Jeff. And tell your guys how much we really appreciate them working around the clock. Okay, we'll move on to our Parks and Recreation Director, Luke Kinsler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. Where do I begin? I would like to say a very heartfelt thank you to all of my colleagues in every department who have been out to support for these last few days. I want to thank Rob and town admin staff for their ongoing support. I want to say right now that we have made contact with all of our staff in the Recreation Department and everybody is okay and safe. Without no cell service, it's been difficult to reconvene, but we have made contact in person as of today. Most staff are doing good. Before I go down to give a report of each facility, I do want to say, you'll see in the parks a lot of red tape. We have red taped off everything that we consider a hazard, but please, for the public, consider all town public parks closed until further notice because a lot of the debris from Richland Creek is biohazard material. We do not know what is in it. If people are accessing the greenway, please use extreme caution and do not touch any of the mud or any debris in there. We have red tape around many facilities, including the dog park, Bilo, and the immediate areas around Richland Creek, and especially the softball field as well. I do want to go down the list of all of our facilities that have been impacted. The rec center is okay. The water rose to the bottom parking lot, but not further. We are running on the rest of this week 8 to 5 hours so that our employees can get to work safely in the morning and then go home in the evening and tend to their own care and needs. We will then reassess for next week to see what resources are out there. We are concerned with employees getting gas and resources, so I just want to put that out there. We will be open Saturday. We were going to try to use the rec center as a resource of normalcy, so people keep encouragement and use what facilities we have. A lot of fitness classes are going to be canceled, staff availability, but working out and using the pool, we should be able to pull that together pretty good, use the rec center. So like I said, the rec center is fine, thank goodness. Vance Park and the Greenway along Richland Creek sustained pretty big damage. The softball field has been flooded. The new Greenway across the new bridge, I've checked the pavement as of today, the new pavement that was down, and it is pretty bad. So we will need to reassess that whole project. There's a lot of debris across the bridge on the new Greenway, a lot of the head wall of the bridge, the new bridge itself. The water carved out a lot of it, so it's going to take some reevaluation on that whole area. The softball has been flooded. There's a lot of structural damage around the dugouts and all of that. Current public outside bathrooms that have been flooded are Vance Park, Milo Park, where the new apartments are, and Dutch Fish. We are reevaluating, and we have had Service Master come in today and take some pictures, and we hope to get those cleaned out as soon as possible. Thanks to Julie Grafty and our HR department for helping us in evaluation. We hope to get those bathrooms open. All the other bathrooms across town are okay. But again, Vance Park, Milo Park, and Dutch Fisher bathrooms are not okay. The skate park sustained no damage that we can see for the concrete structure. So that was some good news. The dog park, I will say, is a total loss. The whole underlayment, all of the drainage below is completely washed away. So we will need to we get some quotes on the dog park. We are to rebuild it. The tennis courts that were just redone, they're okay. It doesn't look like that floodwater has touched them. It looks like the railroad tracks help a little bit with that over at Rec Park. So the tennis courts seem to be okay, which is good news because they were just recently done. The recreation park and playground and the All Abilities playground got a lot of rain, but it does not look like the flood, the bad flood material touched those playgrounds. But again, the public needs to use extreme caution around those playgrounds. So please, again, consider all parks closed. The Armory has been flooded. It sustained a good bit of damage. There's a lot of water coming in. The basement still has water in it. Service Master said they could get to that building fairly quickly. So we're just waiting on them on their schedule. So the Armory is closed until further notice. Chestnut Park is okay. East Street Park is okay. No trees down. Sulphur Springs Park seems to be okay. Dutch Fisher, we will have to reassess it. It seems like we sustained a good bit of damage at Dutch Fisher. Again, thanks to all of our colleagues and my fellow department heads and their support. Right now, we need to consider some areas of the park. They will, considering this, they may get flooded again in the future. So what facilities do we want to rebuild or not? We can go ahead and start getting cost estimates. But it could flood again. So, any questions?
Any questions for Luke? Anyone? Okay, thank you, Luke. Okay, we have presentation by our Development Services, Elizabeth T.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, members of the public. Development Services does a very difficult part of post disaster recovery and reconstruction. You'll see our teams out in the field doing flood damage assessments. We're going neighborhood by neighborhood to try and look at individual houses and property damage. We are working on sheets to fill out particular details. We share this detail with our North Carolina emergency management groups, with Haywood County, and the data that we collect helps people file for flood insurance, helps the county file for emergency services and financial assistance. And it also helps us keep track of the permits that we know people. I wanted to just add that with me tonight is Esther Coulter, our administrative assistant, Olga Gruman, she's a certified floodplain manager. David Kelly is our chief building inspector. We started doing assessment out in the field today. We started on Harris Street. We know that that's a neighbor that's been particularly damaged. We're trying to do the best we can to look at individual properties. We're there to get information. We'll provide information as we can and try to be boots on the ground for this board. So if anybody has any questions about particular neighborhoods or particular concerns, please contact the Development Services Office. I do want to add that when we start doing damage assessments, people tend to want to come in and get building permits right away. For right now, what we'd like to say is we're only going to process storm-related repair permits for an indefinite amount of time, considering the amount of damage that's out there. By separate action, we're going to ask for consideration of storm-related permits, those fees to potentially be waived. And then we want to make sure that people know that permits that we already have, site plans that we're already working on, we're going to continue to work on this. Work doesn't stop the Development Services Office, but we won't be accepting new unrelated storm permit applications at this time for just the next few weeks, and we'll come back and report. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I do want to add my thanks to the staff, particularly David Kelly, Jody Nichols, and Louis Delgado of our staff who were here Friday assisting police and fire, using our town vehicles and our trucks to get people out of harm's way. And again, I really appreciate the support of the board, give us the equipment that we need, and also appreciate my fellow department heads and departments for the hard work that they do. Thank you.
Any questions for Elizabeth, anyone? Thank you. Okay, we have another presentation here in our changes in our daily work priorities, and that will be given by our town manager, Rob Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As many of you know that have driven down Brown Street, our finance department was flooded, as was most of Hazelwood. As we make the repairs and clean up that building, we have moved the finance department across the street to the municipal building. Many of you that have been in Waynesville remember when that was the location of the finance department. They will be working in the old council chamber, the large room. You walk right through and walk to the back. That's where our finance department will be, and we're happy to take your payments, answer your questions, whatever we can do to help you out. So for the time being, that's where we're going to have the finance department. When we clean up the next building and it's sanitized, we'll move on back to George Avenue. Let me mention debris, furniture, and yard waste. It didn't take about 5 hours after the storm before we began to see debris and furniture and yard waste on the side of the road. Flood damaged furniture and yard waste is considered a biohazard. It's been mixed in with fecal material from overflowed sewers, from chemicals that leached into the water, from people running the water through people's garden sheds and things like that. So it is not treated as just plain putting furniture on the side of the road. Later on the agenda, you'll see the town board, the town council consider 2 contracts for materials handlers that will pick up storm debris in the town. The city staff will continue to pick up regular garbage and regular recycling as they do. I urge you, please do not put storm debris in the town garbage can. Still a biohazard even if it's in a garbage can. So we're not going to pick up a garbage can that's full of sheetrock and soap insulation. So please bear with us. Put that on the side of the road for the folks to clean up. I just got a note to remind you that the finance department will reopen on Wednesday morning at 8. We're still in the process of moving all the computers from Georgia Avenue all the way to to the city hall. I got so many staff members waving, I don't know, what they're doing. I'm just wanting to make sure, I want to make sure that I'm not screwing up and they're trying to wait. You know, when you get to my age, you see a bunch of young people waving at you, you naturally assume you're screwed up. Please bear with us as we bring the contractors, into the city to clean up the furniture and debris that will be put on the side of the roads. And continue to think of our city staff as picking up your regular garbage and your regular recycling. We do not yet have any schedule for picking up storm debris. And, in fact, we don't really have a schedule from the county as to when they're gonna reopen the landfill. And I can't tell you from certain when we're gonna start garbage service again. We're waiting on the contractor who the county hired to let us know that Fines Creek's is open, the MRF is open, and the transfer stations all over the county are open. We haven't got that word yet. We'll put that on our websites. We'll try to get the word to you as soon as we know. And you'll probably pick it. It's possible to Evergreen, which is the county's emergency system, will send a message to you that the landfill and the transfer stations are open. When you see that signal, you know that we can now pick up your garbage and take it on to their landfill. I think Luke displayed and described to you why units are going to be closed until further notice, except for those that weren't damaged. Breaks my heart to see the dog park and the condition it's in. We will, be working with contractor very shortly to try to get a quote and try to bring some of these very popular services in the rec department back the way it was. Please observe our road closure signs. Please do not rubberneck. Please do not drive up the roads where it says closed and you drive around, you get up the top and you found out there was a partial slide. It messes us up. It messes the State Department of Transportation up. When we have to go in and tow somebody who's tried to see what's going on up the mountain or see what's going on around the curve where the road's been washed away. And that's not just a message from the town of Waynesville, but it's a message from the Department of Transportation. Mr. Mayor, I think with that, I've given you the information that we have as of today. And if you'll move to item F, we'll begin to discuss with you the contracts that are necessary for debris removal and other storm-related expenditures.
Okay. Okay, we'll move to the adopt the safe bio-debris contract attachment. There'll be the resolutions that is attached here. I will need a motion in that order, be able to do that. And also, as an option of the bio-debris removal, monitor their service contracts.
Let me give you a little heads up on that.
Okay.
Years ago, it was very, very difficult for cities throughout the nation to get individual bids for debris removal ahead of a storm event.
Okay.
And FEMA regulations stated that you had to have bids in place before the storm event or they wouldn't pay for debris removal. The state of North Carolina has taken that burden off of cities and counties by bidding that storm debris removal service on our behalf. And it's on a massive bid sheet that we affectionately call the state contract. So what you have before you are two companies that the state has approved for debris removal. And being the good bureaucrats that FEMA are, there's also a debris removal monitoring service. So I assume when you see the truck come, you'll see this little truck in front of it looking to see what the big truck's gonna pick up. So you just have to take the federal government with a grain of salt. But anyway, so you'll have a little monitoring truck, then you'll have the big truck. And we have to approve these. They are simply notices to proceed because the state already has the contract and we are attaching ourselves to the contract. The two companies that are on the state contract are the same companies that Canton and Clyde will be using. So with that explanation, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Rob?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt the state bio debris contract, and also adopt the state bio debris removal monitoring service contract.
Second.
Got a second to John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Okay, then we got a resolution for storm-related expenditures. You want to explain that one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is amazing how expensive storm repairs and debris removal can be. When I was in Statesville, we spent $1 million a day when we had severe electric outages and we were buying hundreds of transformers. So what we ask for here as a staff is an allocation from your fund balance, that's your savings account, from your general fund savings account, your water fund savings account, and your sewer fund savings account, each of $500,000 to, you know what, I jumped to the lower one. I'm sorry about that. So the $500,000 I just talked about, the motion I should be talking about is that it permits the manager on behalf of the staff to make large purchases to rebuild our infrastructure. For instance, a purchase would be the bid to rebuild the dog park, which would be $60,000 or $70,000. That park relatively new, we know what it costs, so that would be the type of expenditure we might make. We might have to put an entire new fence around a baseball or softball field.
Mm-hmm.
So those are relatively large expenditures, and this simply allows us to make those expenditures without bringing every one of them back to you. And it is only for storm-related expenses. This is not carte blanche for any city purpose or anything. This is simply storm-related expenses.
Okay. Okay, guys, if you have any questions for town manager?
I just, I think I understand, but so we are essentially, in the second thing that you discussed, the 500,000.
Right.
So we would allocate those monies and conceivably expend those funds. And at some point FEMA would reimburse us.
Yes,
Is that-
yeah, I could have actually put these two together. So the 500,000 and the storm-related expense is something that FEMA prefers. By taking, we cannot spend directly out of our savings account. That's a violation of our accounting rules. So what we're doing is we're creating a single account in each fund, and we'll title that storm-related expenses. So when Luke comes up and he has a quote for a new dog park, and we agree that that's a reasonable quote, and I approve it, that purchase comes out of that 500,000 storm-related, because normally it would come out of contracted services. So this segregates all storm-related accounting into these. When we have our hearing in front of the FEMA folks a couple of years from now, and we justify our expenses, having all of these purchases made from a single account in each fund, it makes it very, very clear And it also helps Gail Kirkendall with her bookkeeping. These expenses are gonna be segregated, as will personnel expenses. When our employees that are gonna be working in storm-related recovery efforts and all that are already noting in their time card, because they're different pay standards for FEMA employee pay reimbursement than there are for municipal North Carolina. So we're really almost setting up a second set of books for this recovery effort. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt resolution R 2124, which authorizes the manager to make large purchases related to the emergency and directs the finance director to allocate the fund balance transfers and other expenses related to storm recovery and FEMA reimbursement.
Second.
We got a second by Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt budget amendment of $500,000 each from the general fund, water, and power fund balance to the storm-related expenses.
Okay, motion by Anthony,
Second.
second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay. Next is,
All of
yes. And next is adopt a suspension of the utility cutoffs for non-payment. Rob, you want to explain that?
Yes, sir. As the department heads talk about how we can provide services to the public, recognize a lot of people have had their lives, shaken up pretty badly, in Frog Level and, in Hazelwood and other parts of the town. And we felt like that while they try to shake themselves loose and get their lives back together, the last thing they need to do is see a city employee cut the power off. So what we recommend to you is that we suspend mandatory utility service cutoff for a period of 60 days starting. That should be October 1st. That'd be tomorrow. This is not a get out of, you still have to pay your bills. This simply means that we're not going to cut you off for non-payment, for the next 60 days, especially, in recognition of the damages you have, incurred in your houses. You're still gonna have to pay all your past due bills, and if you find you can't, then we'll certainly work with you on a payment arrangement.
So Rob, the period would be, October
November
1st through November 30th?
Correct,
Okay.
So we'll change
So when you
that.
make the motion, October 1.
right.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the suspension of mandatory utility services cutoff for non-payments through October 1st to November 30th.
Got a motion,
Second.
second by Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, the next is this a mutual agreement. Attachment here is approve the North Carolina Department of Public Services 2023 mutual aid agreement that we had. You want to explain that also?
Of course, I'd love to.
I feel you would.
As you know, we, the municipalities of Haywood County, work seamlessly. And when Canton calls and needs a utility crew in the middle of the night to help them with the water, we just send a crew out. We've even sent our electric truck out to help them decorate their Christmas tree. However, in a FEMA event, if we are called to Clyde or to Canton or by the county to perform a service, for instance, security during curfew, the fire department may be asked to provide fire service while, because the Clyde Fire Department has had considerable damage. What this mutual aid agreement does is it allows us to keep track of all those expenditures, including engine time. Those of you in the construction business know that you can charge the cost of your hourly equipment to the job. So we can charge all of those mutual aid agreements to to FEMA when the time comes, as long as we have the mutual aid agreement in place. So that's what this is another kind of bookkeeping agreement to prepare us for the tremendous amount of paperwork that FEMA is going to put the staff through and the council through in the next 2 to 3 years. These events usually, if we're fortunate, we'll cash out of this event in 3 years. Many times it's 5 or 6 years. It's not a quick process.
Questions for Rob? Okay. I will need another motion in this order to approve it.
I'll, make a motion to approve the North Carolina Department of Public Services 2023 Mutual Aid Agreement.
Second.
Right, got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. So order. Okay, do you have any other business?
No, sir.
Do we, Elizabeth, mentioned the possibility of waiving the fees for storm-related, permits.
That would be something we'd recommend, your staff would recommend.
Okay, can we go ahead and do that?
You
now?
still, yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we waive the fees for, permits for storm-related, recovery efforts.
Okay, motion by John,
Second.
second by Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, comments from, board members, Chuck, do you have anything?
No, I just appreciate everyone coming out. This has been particularly bad because we've all been isolated because of not having our cell phones or internet connections. And nobody really knows what's going on in the world. And it's been really nice to know that the town of Waynesville employees have taken care of us. We didn't have to do anything. We just relied on you and felt good about that too. I mean, we knew we were in good. I know there are folks in the audience who have suffered great losses, and there are people all over Western North Carolina that have suffered even greater losses than we have. I mean, terrible. This is something we'll get through eventually, but anything we can do to help would be fine. I was wondering whether people in the audience might have questions, and there might be anything that we could answer or be available afterwards. I mean, I know there are probably questions people have about when is this coming, when are things happening, and I don't know that we really know that much. But we're here afterwards if you want to talk to the manager, other folks in our departments. Have any questions at all?
Julie, have any?
Just by happenstance in Liberty, I showed up Saturday at the emergency response meeting with our town staff and employees and all the department heads. And I will tell you one thing, Waynesville is in good hands, people. Waynesville is in good hands. The department heads and what they're doing, I was absolutely amazed to sit there and listen to what they're doing and the way the camaraderie and the discussions and pushing things forward on brainstorming on how do this is unprecedented. We've never experienced anything like this in our lifetimes. And so to see them brainstorming and working together and giving to one another and giving one thing that came up, I didn't realize that we gave 5 of our handheld micro or whatever they are, whatever they're, to the highway patrol because they needed that. I mean, we're giving not only in Waynesville, but we're giving out to other people in our surrounding community. And so it's amazing, and God bless you guys for what you're doing. I was in Frog Level Saturday before I went to that emergency meeting, and town of Waynesville staff are down there. They've been up for 36 hours, 36 solid hours. These guys have been working and trying to clean, just doing anything they can do. And so we're well protected. I understand everybody's frustration. I'm frustrated. I didn't realize that silence in my home was was that bad. I mean, I'm so used to having noise in my home, and so I understand that, and the frustration is great. But just please know that you're well taken care of. If your needs are there, please you reach out to everybody here. And so thank you to law enforcement, thank you to the fire department, thank you to Public Works, Finance Department. All of you guys have been busting it, so thank you guys so much, and I'm so impressed.
Yeah, I would like to say, I took some time today and I went and down into the frog level area and walked and talked to some merchants that were there. And my heart was broken. I mean, my heart was broken to see, like some of the places like the Soul Sisters where a cross tide went through the building and they lost all their stuff. I mean, it was heartbreaking and devastating to see that. And then from there, I went to the Hazelwood community and I walked Hazelwood and I went and spoke with merchants there. And again, folks, you just don't realize, what we have until you see things like this, where people have such a large loss. But the one thing we are very fortunate is we haven't lost any lives so far here in Haywood County. And so I'm highly, but I appreciate that, what I'm trying to say. John, you have anything?
One comment and one question. Have we heard anything from the cell service providers about when?
No, sir. We haven't heard a word from any of the providers officially. Jesse, have you heard anything?
No, we ordered 2 towers, a Verizon tower and a AT&T tower. AT&T tower showed up at Fire Station 1 Saturday morning at 12 o'clock a.m. Verizon tower was supposed to be back here, it's not here yet. The county's ordered 5 assets, Verizon and AT&T, just temporary service to try to get everything back up. But they're out of assets in the region. Normally we get these towers in Charlotte or Raleigh. They're pulling them in from Wisconsin, same random state far away that nobody goes to Idaho. They're pulling them in from wherever they can get them. They're not here yet.
Mr. Mayor, can
We haven't heard why the towers aren't working. If Anthony, you got some.
Yeah, there was substantial damage to the fiber lines coming into the county that has prevented any communications going in or out. I've been in contact with Verizon. They were trying to get us equipment, but again, it's coming from Wisconsin, Massachusetts, and even from Canada. So they're working.
T-Mobile has 5G backup.
Yep, T-Mobile. Everyone's going to be going to the T-Mobile store.
I have T-Mobile. It's good.
Yeah.
Are the damaged fiber lines why no one can run credit cards?
Exactly. Everything goes through fiber.
Where was the damage? I mean, was it?
Well, there were propane tanks against some of the fiber, as you know, the Russ Avenue.
Okay, so it was local. It wasn't
Right
in Buncombe County or.
Oh, it goes all the way into Buncombe County and
Okay.
west as well. So if you're aware of how difficult it is to repair fiber, it will be much easier just to lay new fiber cable.
So, I just want to, offer my heartfelt, thanks and appreciation to the, town staff. You guys, are amazing, and, I can say that I am, amazed but not surprised in the least that you guys, rose to the occasion, and just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking care of the citizens of Waynesville. We are so blessed to have you all looking out for us, and so thank you.
Now that I've composed myself, thank you. I really want to say a heartfelt thanks to everyone, especially Chief Adams, who knocked on our door at 4 a.m. to save my family. And we have the most amazing staff and we are so blessed. And let's carry that on through our community. We need to have extra patience with one another, extra understanding, and know that we're all in this together and we're all working as hard as we can. So please be compassionate with one another and just to give a little bit of extra love to one another because it goes a long way. Everyone is in dire need and we just need to be thankful that we're here and we're here together. So we combine our efforts together, we'll all be okay. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
the one problem, of course, we have is that we've been getting notifications from Haywood County, but unless you have internet access, you can't read what they say. But I just see one here that says that at Woodland Baptist Church tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., they are distributing food, water, baby supplies, dog food, limited cleaning supplies.
I did see FEMA came into Waynesville this morning,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Julia, were you, yeah,
Yes, yeah. I just, and I'm glad you said that, Anthony, because one thing I want to say to everybody, thank you guys for being here, the audience. I'll tell you one thing, once we get back and you can get cell service, Chuck Edwards he is in Washington, he is fighting hard for all of Haywood County. If you can reach out to, just keep pounding his office and saying, we need resources here in Haywood County. We've gotten less response from our state representatives. So please, just again, if you get access to internet, contact our local representatives, Mark Pless in particular, and just say, don't leave Waynesville out of the mix. Clyde is devastated. Canton, Maggie's taken a very difficult lick, and we're kind of number 4 in that chain of Haywood County towns. But don't leave us behind. If you can speak to a representative, whatever in Washington or state, hang in there. Just tell them, because the greasy wheel gets the oil, and we need to be the greasy. We need to get that oil on our wheel. It needs to be all about Waynesville.
I was very fortunate. I was in Washington, D.C. at the very beginning of the event. I was able to speak with Chuck Edwards' office, with Tom Tillis's office, and they are there for us. I will say that Mark Pless did reach out to me personally and said he is here for Waynesville. So I want to commend him for reaching out and making sure that we were okay, that I was okay. So not all bad for Mark that he did reach out, and I appreciate that very much.
As of today, we have not received any word from FEMA as where they may be setting up any sort of centers to inspect properties or to receive applications for aid. I would encourage you to, if you have insurance, please contact your local agent. Please begin to work with your agent on a settlement, because FEMA is going to come in on top of your insurance. They're not going to replace it. So the one thing they'll probably ask you when you do sit down with FEMA is, have you discussed this with your local insurance agent? So please go ahead and start that process. That'll help you when you do make an application through FEMA.
That's actually the perfect segue to the announcement I'd like everyone to know about. Rob, thank you for that excellent unscripted lead-in.
Let me introduce you. This is our town attorney, Martha, and she's one that's did it.
Yeah, so I grew up just outside Wilmington. I can tell you that the road to recovery after a hurricane is long. This part is scary and hard, but then you have the months of rebuilding, and that takes just as long. And the first step, just like Rob said, is to go ahead and file those insurance claims. Very likely going to deny you, because that's what insurance companies do. But that's okay. Just go ahead and do it and keep the paperwork, because when FEMA enacts a major disaster declaration, there's a service called Disaster Legal Services. It's a arm of the American Bar Association that's implemented by the State Bar, North Carolina Bar Association. We'll be organizing clinics and volunteer attorneys to provide pro bono legal services for citizens in the community. And that affects not just property owners, but tenants. So even if you don't own property, if you have a rental living unit, if you rent where your business is located, if you're a merchant and you have merchandise that's destroyed, please keep records as well as you can. I know it's hard under these circumstances, but whatever kind of legal documents you can keep a hold of, keep them with you in your purse or your bag or in a safe place. That goes for deeds, birth certificates, social security cards, insurance policies, so you have contact information and your policy numbers. If you are working on behalf of an elderly or disabled relative, you're going to need a power of attorney, or if they are no longer competent, you may need a guardianship. So you may need to be talking to the folks in the court's office to make sure you have actual legal authority to act on behalf of others. Those are going to be important documents that FEMA's going to want to see if you want to help Nana get her FEMA claim filed. You're going to have the proper paperwork in order to be able to talk to the federal government for her. Those clinics will start in several weeks, but as you're building out, as you're cleaning out, as you're tearing down, make sure you keep a hold of those paperwork, and if you need copies, you're welcome to contact my law office. We will help you find the appropriate place to get copies from county government once they open back up. But so just hold on, go ahead and file those insurance claims. And then once you have the denials in hand, we'll go to FEMA and try to collect resources. There are resources for individuals who are displaced. So there's emergency housing allowances that will come into effect with the disaster declaration. So don't think just because you don't own your home or own a building or land that you're not eligible. That's not true. So call, find out as much information as possible, because we want to make sure everybody has access to the resources they need to rebuild and put their lives back together.
That being said, if you listen to 99.9 FM, they have public information going all the time at the moment. So if you've access to a radio, listen to 99.9 FM.
And I'll stick around after the meeting if anyone has questions about those legal services, to try to give you the information that might be applicable to you.
Martha brought a good point, is take pictures.
Mhm.
Don't start just throwing everything out on the curb. Don't get crazy with the sheetrock knife before you take pictures, because FEMA's gonna say what it looked like before, when it was damaged. Well, I didn't take any picture until I cut all the sheetrock and insulation out. That's not gonna help. One of the things we're doing in the city, we spend a good portion of the day taking pictures, because we're gonna have the same burden on us as you do on yourselves. When we ask for a claim for, if you will, a dog park, we'll have to show them what the dog park looked like, why it was destroyed. So take pictures of your house with the furniture in place where they can clearly see where the flood lines were. And then once you have that, you're free to, to start your demolition after you see my friends over here in the Development Service Office.
Oh, yeah. Again, thank you all for coming out. And again, if you have questions, we will still be here. And we'll have our guys from other fire departments and police departments and public works, public recreation departments.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk to them after the meeting's adjourned.
After the meeting here, if you have a question, we're still here available for you to come and ask us a question. So
Can we,
I'm volunteering with Haywood County. They may want to.
Yeah.
You don't want me to wait and talk to them.
no, let him speak.
sure, come
Yeah,
on.
if you've got information from them.
You've got some good information for our citizens.
Hello, I'm Rick Hernessy. I Thursday night started hassling the emergency response folks and saying, what can I do? Sunday, I talked my way into a job. So I'm working with Dylan, one of the public information officers for Haywood County. So you guys may already have this, but they're pushing out, this is the update for today. They're pushing it out right now via paper. They have a internet capability and website, but obviously nobody has that. So I'll let you guys actually look at it so you can verify it. So it's FEMA, actually the FEMA, they're recommending, there's a phone number already that people can start contacting to contact FEMA. And they're also recommending that you can start applying via the app. Right, yeah, when that gets up and running. So after I went around the county today pushing this out because there was no other way to get it out. So I've been going around to churches, community organizations, businesses. One of the things I discussed with some of the churches, First Baptist has volunteered to start doing a daily sort of Haywood County community update, which I would ask Dylan if they wanted to send somebody over there to do that. The thought is to have Haywood County like a leadership or organizational sort of meeting, and then a separate community meeting. So as of right now, Dylan doesn't know about that. After this, I'll go talk to Dylan and share that with him that First Baptist offered that. So the idea would be 2 separate meetings, one for leaders, kind of coordinating, because everybody that I've talked to is obviously frustrated that they're not getting information. So having that in-person meeting, even if internet and cell comes back up, that all of the things that people want to do, they're getting frustrated because they're not getting the word down and they're not getting the word out. So that's what I'm going to do after this meeting. I'm going to go over there. I share that with you because if they want, I'll hand it out to them. You guys are okay with that? Whoever wants it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. With that said, and I'll ask for a motion that we adjourn. And again, we're still here. You know, if you have questions, you can speak. You're more than welcome. So I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Got a motion? Got a second? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, so like sign. Thank you all again. It makes me feel good to see you all come out on this important issue.
That building is owned by the county, it's operated by the county. So whether
I'm sorry, like $3. But I can't use a credit card, and I have to wait 2 hours. And I'm scheduled. Well, there are plenty of